My Month with a Billionaire, episode 52. We are now still on day 15, and y'all, when I tell you that I cannot believe, my angel baby kittens, that this man, Bob, has the audacity to come at me and Kristen like this with so much heat and attitude, like, we are not the ones. And the first thing I notice about a man when he's approaching me truly is like what he says in Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he's like, oh, what's the first thing that you notice about a man? And she says, the audacity. Like, exactly. I was like, sir, what are you talking about? And Kristen's like, Bob, shut the fuck up. And he was like, no, Kristen. And I was like, don't put your hand up to her. Like, do not, like, quiet her down. And he was like, listen, Kat. He was like, you're new around here. And I'm like, I'd love to see where this is going, Bob. And he was like, but Harley and I have been friends for a long time. I'm like, And he was like, and we have an understanding. I'm like, and what is that understanding, Bob? And he was like, look, we're friends, and he doesn't get bothered by the things that I do. And I'm like, so you're sure that he doesn't get bothered about you bringing the forbidden substance that he had clearly told you that he didn't want you to bring on the plane last time that your friends brought? He's like those women brought them, not me. I'm like, don't blame them. Like, do not blame them. They are not Harley's responsibility, nor are they his friends. You are Harley's friend. And did you tell the women not to bring that there? Like, were you like, hey, probably don't bring that around Harley? And he was like, look, I just told them not to make sure that he didn't see it. And I'm like, right. And he was like, and because of you, he saw it. I'm like, no, because of you, he saw it. Because you brought them here. They brought the substance. The substance was there. I simply just alerted Harley to its presence. And he was like, yeah, he saw it because of you. I'm like, so what you would have me do? Pick it up and just what? Give it to you on the sly? And he was like, well, yeah, that would have been cool of you. I'm like, you know what would be really cool? If Harley's friends, which, how long have you known him? Like, multiple decades, I'm assuming, because I know that he knew you when you were a struggling actor and you were living on his fucking couch. But I would think that my friends, if I was Harley, who I helped out of a tough spot and helped with their career and constantly was using money to bail them out of situations, would respect me enough not to bring people around that were bringing around a substance that I clearly went to rehab for and had a problem with. And he was like, Harley's recovered. He doesn't have a problem with it anymore. I'm like, that's really not up to you. It is up to you respecting Harley's wishes. And Kristen's like, yeah, you're always such a dick. You're always like pushing him. And he's like, look, Harley's my brother and he's never going to care what I do. I'm like, well, how about this? You do what you're going to do and you will get the consequences for Harley. And then I will do what I'm going to do. So you live how you want to live because that's your prerogative, and you can control nobody but yourself because clearly you can't control your proclivities or the way that you act around your friend who you supposedly respect and care for. And then I will make my decisions on my own like I did, which was to share with Harley, the man that I am dating and living in his house, that substance was there. And he was like, all right, fine. He was like, you do you and I'll do me. I'm like, yeah. I was like, and Bob, do not ever come at me again with some bullshit. Like, I am only here to be honest and make people's lives better and to create a connection with the people here and with Harley. And I have his best interests at heart. But I think that you need to think about whose interests you have. And he was like, I always have Harley's best interest at heart. I'm like, really? And Kristen's like, whatever, you're so self-serving. She's like, you all are. And he's like, who's all we? And she's like, you all in the industry. And he was like, whatever. And he's like, all right, girls, well, I guess that you guys are the fun police. I'm like, if we're the fun police, yeah, right, dude. And he was like, I will see y'all later. And we're like, sure, Bob. He leaves. And I'm like, this motherfucker. Bob vroom vrooms away in the Lambo, and then I go to the room and I'm just kind of like doing a little bit of work in my room. I heard the ding ding of the bell and Harley walks in to the front door. I go downstairs to greet him and he's like, okay, like, let's have a bite. We're all sitting at the middle table having food. We had fettuccine alfredo from Chef Drew with a lovely, lovely Caesar salad. And for dessert, it was creme brulee. And then me and Kristen went into the game room. We found some games. So we all sat around the table, me, Kristen, Gabby, because Jace had left before Harley got home, Harley, Maria, and Drew, and we played Uno, which was really fun. And then Harley and I were so tired, everyone was tired, that we all said goodnight. Harley and I have gotten ready for bed, and we're just sitting in the bed chatting and talking about the trip and how great it was to spend time with Papa Henry and how Carol girl was having a great time. And I was like, Harley, I have a question. And he was like, okay, what is it? I'm like, the whole Dana thing, you know, with the pictures that she sends and everything, does she think that you guys still have this sort of relationship? And he was like, what sort of relationship? I was like, the sexy time relationship. And he was like, no, no, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, well, when's the last time that you guys like did anything intimate or anything where either, you know, she was doing something with a guy or you watched or her with a girl or whatever? And he's like, well over 6 months ago, like 6 or 7 months ago. He's like, it was after me and my ex had broken up because, you know, we broke up 9 months ago. And then a few months passed, I was dating different people. And then it just happened one night because I was kind of bored and just like drunk, and then it happened, and then it hasn't happened again, and I told her that it can't happen again. I'm like, okay, and so far she's respected that? And he was like, yeah, she has. And I'm like, but what about the text messages and the weird things she texts you and like the way that she is always kind of going past your boundaries? And he's like, look, I understand that as someone that I am dating actively, that it can be really uncomfortable to have Dana around, seeing as we've had a past, but I'm not attracted to her. I've never been attracted to her. I'm like, but you've seen her get railed by another man, and you also seen her do things with girls. I'm like, did you ever do anything with her? Like, have you been side of her? And he was like, no, never. And I'm like, okay, but, and he was like, look, I've like gone down south, but he's like, I've never been in the corridor. And he's like, I've just watched her with other girls and with a guy. Like, I've never crossed to that boundary. And I'm like, one boundary we haven't crossed. But again, I'm like, Harley, you lied to me though twice before. Remember? You lied to me the first time and then the second time that you swore you'd never done anything. And then it kept getting bigger and bigger. So I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to tell me exactly what it is, everything that you've done with her, if you're comfortable, because I definitely need to feel like I can trust you. I'm like, because trust goes both ways. And while I am wanting to help you with your trauma, I also have trauma. And he was like, I know. And I was like, and for me to feel safe, I would really appreciate it if you would be incredibly open and honest with me. Like, I don't care what you've done because it's your past. I just want you to be honest. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, if you're comfortable with that, like, I'm never going to tell you you have to do something, but it would make me feel a lot safer and better if you could. And that's the thing, y'all, is if you want someone to reassure you or make you feel better, it's not about like, you better do this, otherwise we're done, or ultimatums or whatever, you know, it's like about talking about your perspective and how it feels from your standpoint. Like, I would feel safer if you shared this with me. It would make me feel a lot more open to sharing with you if I could be vulnerable in this way. And for me to feel better about that and to feel like I can be vulnerable, I would like it if you did this, right? And then that way the person has the choice. Again, it's about we want everyone to feel like they have a choice and the autonomy, because that's how we build trust. And he was like, okay, me and Dana and Teeny, we were doing our thing. I did have intimate relationships with Teeny. And when there were the three of us, there would be some times where I would be with Teeny doing the thing, and then Dana would be there also like on Teeny. But me and Dana never connected in that way because I just saw her more as like a kind of side factor. He was like, or it sounds really bad, as like a tool that was just there as like a side character. And I'm like, okay, so you've never done one-on-one with her? He was like, no, never. And I was like, have you ever wanted to? He was like, no, like, honestly, I'm really not attracted to her. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, okay, so let's talk about everything that we've done. And he was like, okay. Because I'm like, let me try to figure out where this like strap-on situation that was found in Dana's forbidden drawer plays into this, right? Like, I need answers. So I'm like, okay, so you've had sums and you've had like multiple people like swinger parties and stuff. He was like, yeah. I was like, what's the most amount of people that you've had in a room where you guys have all been doing the deed together next to each other? And he was like, oh, a lot. I'm like how many? He was like filled the living room. I'm like, oh, okay, that is a lot of people. He was like, yeah, I've had like hundreds of people here. I'm like, holy shit, Harley. And I'm like, okay, have you ever done the butt stuff? And he was like, have I ever put it in one? Yes. And I was like, okay. I was like, have you ever done anything with a man? And he was like, no. I was like, you've only watched a man and a woman? And he was like, yes. And he's like, what about you? I'm like, yes, to all things as well. And I was like, okay, what about like, have you ever been begged with a P? You know, I'm trying to see if the thing had been used on him. And he was like, oh, no, no. And I was like, really? And he was like, no, no, no. I was like, have you ever wanted to? Have you ever done like play down there? And he was like, I have experimented with some fingers, but that's it. And he was like, but I have no interest in the begging with a P. And he's like, what about you? And I was like, yeah, I've done it. And he was like, to years, someone had done it to you, or you've done it to other people? I was like, I've done it to other people. And he was like, and how was that? I was like, it was fun. Like, I was down to try it. And he was like, but is it really like pleasurable for women? And I was like, I mean, it's more of like a power thing. You know, if it's like you and a man, it's like really powerful. I like that power. Okay, but have you seen other people using it on other people? And he was like, yes. And I'm like, girls or guys? And he's like, only girls. He's like, I don't think I want to see a girl and a guy doing that. I'm like, that's your prerogative. So you have been there directing two women to use it on each other. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, has Dana been one of these participants? And he was like, yes. And I was like, and was she the one doing the wearing, or was she the one doing the receiving? And he was like, they took turns. And I'm like, did you like it? And he was like, it was fun. It was like something to try. And I'm like, okay, Harley, one more question. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, is there any world where you actually have feelings for Dana? And you actually, this is all just this crazy sort of foreplay situation or long drawn out game that y'all are doing. And I'm just in the middle of it. And all these other girls are just in the middle of it. And you actually are like in love or together, and you just want to run away into the sunset and have your like kinky little times. And he was like, cat. And he put his hand on my hand and he was like, no. He's like, I am trying actively to separate that relationship and that sort of dynamic that I had with Dana from the Dana that is my sober living coach. He's like, I have been trying to establish this boundary even before I met you because I realized how fucked up it was. He's like, and being with you, I'm seeing how much I really want to set those boundaries. And I promise you that I know it's important to you, so I'm going to try to do that now. And I'm going to start when she gets here. I'm going to be very professional. You know, she is a good friend of mine still, but she is my sober living coach, and there will be no more proclivities or anything. And I promise you that it's just going to be me and you. And I'm really committed to trying to make this work with you because I really do feel a deep connection with you. And I was like, okay. And he was like, do you trust me? And I was like, yep, until you give me a reason not to. But yes, Harley. And he goes, great. He goes, I feel really good about that. And I was like, okay, well, I feel good too. And he goes, great, great. And he gives me a kiss, and then he wanted me to big spoon him, and then we go to sleep, y'all. So we find out the truth about what was going on there. Him and Dana have done so many things together. And now the next day, we are going to go into LA playtime with Daddy Harley, day 1. I love you and I see you. Big hug, big kiss. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all.